I get lots of stories. You would be surprised at what drinking a little live vinegar can do for the body.
That's
but it's all
amazing.
pretty good. Not the apple cider stuff, though. Sorry.
Not the apple cider stuff, not the same stuff. Welcome to Becoming Virtuoso, the podcast with Dr. Susan Crockett. You are listening to episode number 58, Mother Knows Best, an interview with entrepreneur and vinegar connoisseur Lisa Bullion, the owner of Other Mother Vinegar.
Welcome to Becoming Virtuosa, the podcast that encourages you to become your best virtuosa self. Each week, Dr. Susan Crockett goes where the scalpel can't reach, exploring conversations about how to be, heal, love, give, grow, pray, and attune. For the first time ever, she's bringing the personal one-on-one teaching that she shares with individual patients to you on this broader platform. A weekly source of inspiration and encouragement designed to empower you. By evolving ourselves as individuals, we influence and transform the world around us. Please help me welcome board-certified OB-GYN specializing in minimally invasive GYN surgery, internationally in the top 1% of all GYN robotic surgeons, a certified life coach, and U.S. News top doctor, your host, Susan A. Crockett, MD.
I am here today with my very special guest, Lisa Bullion from Other Mother Vinegars in Fredericksburg, Texas. Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you so much. It's just an honor to be here.
This is such a cool thing because a lot of the guests that I've had on the show so far have been people that I know pretty well, like in my friend circle or my work circles, but you're not. We just met today.
Right.
And we kind of met because one of the people who works with me on the show came across your product.
And that was a joy to meet Lacey.
Yeah.
Actually, in Fredericksburg. She's precious.
Yeah. That's how you met her, was she found you there.
She did. We met at a market. She came up and was interested in the product and talked to us a little bit about it and then went on her way. And then she came back around and said, hey, I have something to ask you.
Yeah.
Would you think you'd be interested in being on the Dr. Crockett Show? And I said, absolutely. Here I am.
What is that? Who is she? Yeah. I love that story because you are one of my first, if maybe not the first, organic, like meet somebody and feel like that would be a good fit for somebody to talk about wellness on the show. And I've so enjoyed getting to meet you today and hear your story. So I want to give our listeners, our viewers, a chance to hear this very interesting background story, like why vinegar and
I know, because it's crazy.
How in the world how did this come about?
Crazy. We definitely are crazy to make vinegar in the first place. How did it come about? Well, I'm going to go way back because we took a family vacation to Italy. This was many years ago.
Okay.
And we were introduced to fantastic balsamic. At that, and not like what we tend to get in the United States. If you're paying less than about $100 a bottle, it's probably not true balsamic. It's been through a series of mini barrels over 15 to 20 years.
That's what true balsamic is?
Right.
Boy, the Italians have this thing down, don't they?
They really do. They really do. But it's a flavor explosion in the mouth. It's just a tiny bit. And so we got back home and we thought, we'll just make some of that, not knowing what we were getting ourselves into.
Oh, that's awesome.
But flash forward, we made vinegar for our own personal uses and I'd use it in my kitchen. And after I retired from educating from high school.
Because you were a teacher.
I was a teacher in Fredericksburg, as a matter of fact. And finally retired in 2016 and needed a retirement hobby. So I thought, well, honey, let's just make your vinegar and let people see what really good vinegar tastes like. You know, we'd shared it with friends around the table, of course, and gotten such good response.
Yeah.
And so that's what we did. And we started to go to farmers markets and do that. We had made it for our own selves, like I said. Never got to the balsamic stage. Sorry, full confession.
But you know what? I've tried your vinegars today. You were kind enough to bring samples. And I don't know if the viewers can see it. I'm pretty sure they can. The strip of the barrel that you brought, where you explained to us about how the process is that it was made. And these vinegars are amazing.
You're so kind. Thank you. Absolutely. So we found that live vinegar, otherwise you may hear the terms like with the mother or raw or live. They all mean the same thing. It's unpasteurized. And it's a natural process. It's a secondary fermentation from, in our case, wine to vinegar.
Because Fredericksburg is like in the middle of Texas hill country, wine country. A lot of our viewers from like other places might not
would
know
probably
that
not know that.
Texas really is a big Central Texas wine thing. So you're right in the heart of that.
Right in the heart of that. And I must say, at the very onset of it, when I went to source my wine from those vineyards, they kind of laughed at me.
Really?
They kind of laughed at me and they kind of were like, what? And now they call me. So, so I'm happy to report, but it's taken a little while. But we take that wine, we blend it to a certain flavor profile, then we put it back in a barrel.
For over a year.
Over a year. It's about a year plus a couple months process to convert the alcohol. Acetobacters happen to be free floating in the air. They attach themselves to the alcohol. There's a lovely conversion process, takes a few months. Then the alcohol's gone. And we take it and move it to a full-size barrel, because the first barrel is a ventilated barrel to get the air in.
Okay.
And then it sits there and ages. And that gives it a more mellow flavor, less harsh, as if you've tried apple cider vinegar.
So I'm so glad you brought that up, because I wanted to talk about that. I'm hearing everywhere about the health benefits of apple cider vinegar.
Of course.
JJ Virgin's talking about it. I have a bottle of Bragg's downstairs, and I have tried shooting it. I'll use it occasionally, like in salad dressings. It's rough, right?
Rough.
And so then you walk in here.
And were you scared to try at the beginning? Come on.
I love trying new things. Like it's one of my things one of these little things is to grow. So these are
they all represent something. Got it.
They all represent something. So one is grow. And
love it.
To me, that means like, don't be afraid to try new things. So when you walked in, I was really excited, but I also didn't want to like make like an unconscious face when I didn't like it.
But I get lots of those too.
Really?
Because I'm asking someone to drink vinegar, and that is not normally what you consider a drink.
No, but these were amazing.
You're too kind.
They were each, no, I'm just selfish because they're really good. Each one had a different flavor. So we did the ginger and honey, the beet.
Yes.
Is that beet and honey also?
Yes, there's a little honey in that one, of course.
And then the turmeric, which is great for inflammation.
Right.
And then the tart raspberry, which was just like dessert. It's amazing. Yeah, none of them made me make a face. I didn't even have to fake it.
I love that you didn't have to fake it. They're a lot of fun. And they aren't, I'll just clarify for our viewing audience, they are shrubs, which is a combination of our barrel-aged vinegar and fresh ingredients.
Okay, so I think that's a really important definition, because y'all, I didn't even know what that was when she said it today. So it's shrubs, like bushes, shrubs.
Exactly what people think, as what I did at the very beginning. But this shrub is an older colonial American term. As you can imagine, pre-refrigeration, they used vinegar to preserve lots of different items, fruits, vegetables,
Pickling.
Even meats, think
sauerkraut.
Exactly. But they were a waste not society. So once they'd exhausted whatever they had in that liquid, they had the liquid left over, vinegar based. They sweetened it. And believe it or not, they were cocktail mixers.
That's just brilliant.
And they called it a shrub. That's where it came from. So I didn't invent the term. I'm just kind of borrowing it and hopefully giving it a little bit more of a
modern twist.
A little bit more of a facelift. Yeah.
Facelift. Oh, that's great. So you take the shrub, which is the raw, and then you add the other pieces like the turmeric or the beet. Yeah.
Yes. So the way we formulate, it's very simple. We take, just for instance, the turmeric with a little bit of raw honey and our vinegar, and that's the full ingredient list. So we start with fresh turmeric root.
No preservatives, no sulfites, no funkiness.
We say no stabilizers, no enhancers, no junk.
You're speaking my food love language right there.
And they are intended to be taken that shot, as we discussed, an ounce at a time. But the good news is you have options. You can enjoy them in so many ways. You can add them to your salad. Think of vinaigrette. Mm-hmm. You can add them to sparkling water and have a lovely mocktail.
Like Topo Chico.
Topo Chico.
We did that
my
today.
Favorite, because I like the minerals.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have more than one way to sneak that good bacteria-rich vinegar in.
So from a medical perspective, how many shots of this a day should we be taking for our gut health? Because that's the primary health, as I understand it, is getting our probiotic in. So our gut health is happy, and our gut is so important for our brain function. It's our immune system. It's all
I think
these
more
things.
than we've really discovered, to be honest. I do think healing definitely starts in the gut, and naturally occurring probiotics are the way to go whenever possible. I know there's lots of them out there in terms of pills, etc. But if you can get your sauerkrauts, if you can get your yogurts, kombuchas, and of course some vinegar, then you're doing your body a favor, really.
So 1 shot a day?
One shot, you asked. A shot a day would be an ounce, and that is what we do recommend. Some people want to go to the 2 ounces. So 1 to 2 ounces. We do have a small 2-ounce bottle. And if you're going to do it and just do the one, go ahead and do the boost, do 2 ounces. Yeah. Otherwise, if you can do it daily, definitely an ounce a day.
Speaking of gut health, so if we're taking a shot a day, and that's supposed to be healthy for our gut and everything, I have friends who have like acid reflux. And as a doctor, we're always telling them, well, you shouldn't eat citrus and you shouldn't eat chocolate and all that. So tell me about what I should tell those friends regarding having vinegar shots.
It's crazy, but it's actually going to help them. And I know it's counterintuitive. It's acid to deal with acid in a sense. But my husband is my case study. He was on meds for over 15 years.
Wow.
And really aren't meant to take them for that duration of time. Yeah. It can be very bad for you on other aspects. And so he took the time to wean himself off and just go strictly with our shrub. And he does it religiously before he goes to bed at night. He takes the 1 ounce because he suffers when he lays down at night. That's just when it happens. Right. So it can help with that. It can calm the acid storm.
The inflammation.
And we think it's because it can either be an overproducing or an underproducing acid situation. But if it's underproducing, you're kind of giving a little slug of acid in that would then
shift the bacteria to where it needs to be.
And then the opposite. So if it's overproducing, it would just shut down on the acid production. So either way, you should get a relief.
Interesting.
I get lots of stories. You would be surprised at what drinking a little live vinegar can do for the body. But it's all pretty good. And not the apple cider stuff, though. Sorry.
Not the apple cider stuff, not the same stuff. Well, and as always, like, we're not giving medical advice on this show. Even though I am a doctor, you need to consult your own physician before you do any changes to your medical care. But
of course,
when we're talking from a nutritional standpoint, the other interesting thing is the bioavailability of the products, like the turmeric. I'm especially interested in that because I'm somebody that has inflammation in my body.
I think it's our process. We're about minimally processing, and we start with fresh turmeric root, fresh ginger root, fresh beets locally whenever we can get them. They are seasonal. And what we do is we crack the starch for you. So we're going to shred it, juice it, press it. And in that format is the most bioavailable. You see, if you take for instance, dehydrated or powdered form of turmeric, it's going to take the body much longer to rehydrate before it can absorb.
Oh, I had never thought of that.
And they tend to say pair it with black pepper because that is going to be the focus first. The body will focus on the black pepper and give the turmeric longer in the system for absorption purposes. But in the process that we use, we find it is most available and your absorption rates. That's why it's only an ounce a day. And that 1 little ounce, you get about 1,000 milligrams of turmeric. And the curcumin in there, that's what fights that inflammation.
We were talking about how the shot before the meal blunted the insulin spike because one of us was wearing I don't have it on right now, but I like wearing a continuous glucose monitor, a CGM. I'm not diabetic, but I teach about how we can watch what our glucose levels are doing.
Yes.
It's kind of fun just to be able to see what happens when you eat something, what your body does.
Because you really would surprise yourself.
And different foods at different times of day or even at night. Like I can see my sugars start to rise in the morning before I've even eaten anything because my cortisol is checking in. So one of the things that's really curious to me and I've been playing with is combining different foods at different times a day.
Okay.
And this is one of those things where
it can be. I have clients that report they take a little, either in the pure form, the red wine vinegar on its own, or in the shrub format, the raspberry being the most often used, and it will curtail that spike.
The spike.
I just think it's bizarre, but the body it's an amazing machine.
It is
it's an amazing machine.
Yeah. It's so cool. I want to hear one more story. I want you to share one more story with our listeners before we end the talk, because this has been so great. If you wouldn't mind, could you share the story of how you went through COVID and how you ended up building your company because your company's not that old.
Definitely not. We're fledgling. We're still a startup. We did go through COVID. We weathered the storm, but it was rough at the beginning. We were a market-based, event-based company, so young, having started and not had very many just clients, customers that knew what was going on. And what we did was, as the market shut down, we pivoted to wholesale.
Wow.
Now, doing that in the middle of a pandemic, I know that's pretty crazy.
It's bold.
But it was kind of our only chance. And what happened was I received this wonderful text from a friend who said, "Hey, how about a Zoom call with H-E-B?"
Only the largest grocery distributor in this part of the country.
And it was much like we're discussing now. We got on the Zoom call. We had a lovely conversation. Mm-hmm. It really was meet and greet is all I thought we were doing. And we did.
Yeah.
And we were wrapping up the call and the buyer said, "Okay, I'll take it all."
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And I used to think that was the biggest, being in the consumer packaged goods business, that would be the biggest hurdle, getting it on the shelf.
Right.
The truth is, getting it off the shelf and into the consumer's basket is because no one knows it's there. And it's COVID and no one's in the stores.
Yeah.
But they were kind and they took it and they put our products. We have 2 sizes, the 2-ounce size and then a 14-ounce size. And they put all of them in a series of stores. And it just began to organically catch on.
That's amazing.
And now we started in about 80 stores with which is a big number.
It is a big number.
It's a big number for a little tiny company. Now we are also in Whole Foods in the Southwest region, which is just a blessing. These are both such blessings. And in about, I think at last count, about 140 H-E-Bs in that healthy living section.
So that our viewers who live local and can go to H-E-B, they can find it in the healthy living section. So it's not with the regular vinegars. It's
correct.
They have to go look for it in the healthy living, like the health food section of H-E-B.
That really teeny tiny small section that has the green banners.
Yeah,
that one.
There you go.
Yes.
Or they can go to your website. Like
of
any
course.
of our viewers could go to our listeners could go to your website and
yes, we ship coast to coast, and the website's pretty simple. It's just othermothervinegar.com.
Othermothervinegar.com, because Mother knows best.
Because Mother does know best.
That's awesome. Well, Lisa, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been so much fun getting educated about all of this and just getting to know you and meet you. Thank you for being my guest.
My blessing and honor to be here. Thank you.
Bye, y'all. Thanks for listening to this episode of Becoming Virtuosa. To learn more, come visit us at drcrockett.com. That's drcrockett with 2 T's.com. Or find us on YouTube for The Dr. Crockett Show. If you found this episode helpful or think it might help someone else, please like, subscribe, and share. This is how we grow together. Thanks, and I'll see you next week. Love always, Sue.